When aliens land on Earth, they sometimes bring out the monsters in us. This is the message of Russian sci-fi drama Attraction, which tells us the story of an unlikely bond between two species set in the tower blocks of downtown Moscow.
Hey, welcome to our channel. Get a chance to be featured in our future videos by suggesting underrated movies you want us to recap. Just leave a comment down below. So today we'll recap and review a sci-fi drama movie, Attraction. Let's check it out. Our story opens in Moscow, a refreshing change from aliens who always choose to land in the United States for some reason.
We are in a classroom on the eve of a once-in-a-lifetime meteor shower. Yulia and her friend, Svetlana, are gossiping about her latest romantic crush. The sky dims and thunderclaps nearby as the bell goes as their teacher assigns them their homework to observe the meteor shower that night. Artyom, Yulia's new Romeo, picks her up from school. He drives a loud car and gives off big bad boy vibes. At home, Yulia arrives quickly to pick up her things and leave to observe the meteor shower, but her father, Valentin, a stern military colonel, won't allow it. He thinks it's too dangerous, and once again he throws his weight around and denies her request. However, bad boy Artyom persuades her to break the old man's rules. Floating in the atmosphere of Earth, an unidentified object is struck by the beginning of the asteroid shower. Valentin and his supporting officers detected the strange incoming craft and scramble a series of jets to intercept it. On top of the tower block, Artyom and his friends narrowly save a reporter's life from a reckless drag racer. He smashes his car wing mirror and the driver tries to start a fight with him, but thinks twice when Artyom's several friends back him up. Later, Yulia, Svetlana, and Artyom are waiting for the meteor strike. But Artyom has other ideas and convinces Yulia to ditch the meteor shower so they could go and be somewhere quiet and alone. Leaving Svetlana to watch the meteor shower, she's surprised when military helicopters fly overhead. Suddenly, everyone's phones begin to malfunction and power across the city drops out. The alien spacecraft, a strange blend of spirals surrounded by revolving rings, descends over the city in a ball of smoke. Svetlana looks on in disbelief as the ship glides directly towards her, crushing the roof and killing her instantly. As the building collapses, the wall of Yulia and Artyom's room falls away and she clings to him for dear life. The ship continues its descent, tearing through the Moscow skyline, leaving a path of destruction in its wake before coming to a grinding halt. The colonel is briefed on the situation by the vice premier minister as a military convoy makes their way to the crash site. Mikhail, the state deputy, is in the convoy with Valentin while he conducts a telephone interview with Primetime News and denies that there's any evidence that this object is alien in origin. Emergency services deal with the chaos on street level, while Artyom cradles Yulia's body, carrying her throughout the rubble and dust, pleading for someone to help them before a police car stops and they both climb into the back. As the military form a tight perimeter around the fallen spacecraft, Mikhail and Valentin approach the craft and meet face-to-face with an extraterrestrial being. It seems mechanical in nature, with no signs of organic flesh. Perhaps it's wearing a suit, or maybe it's so alien to us it appears as something we can't understand. Suddenly, Polskin begins to suffer some sort of attack. The electromagnetic field of the aliens has interrupted his pacemaker. Later, Valentin is giving a statement to a tribunal where he declares that the aliens simply want to be left alone so they can conduct the repairs on their ship in peace. When questioned how he knows this, Valentin says he was simply able to understand it from the being despite the fact that it didn't speak Russian and that the most important thing is that they leave the craft alone. Yulia awakens in a hospital 4 days later and finds Artyom asleep in the corridor, who tells her that Svetlana has died. Outside the hospital, Valentin arrives to collect her. She's taken into a military vehicle, and he has a few stern words for Artyom, who he blames for Yulia being caught in the middle of this mess. Valentin uses this opportunity to double down on his strict rules for her. There is now a citywide curfew in effect, and Yulia must come straight home after school. Yulia arrives at Artyom's hideout, and we're introduced to his friends, Python, Ruslan, and Mishkin. She has brought a gun with her, committed to the plan that they're going to kill one of these aliens, and Artyom's gang is immediately on side with the plan.
Yulia's sense of revenge has taken her over. Even the guards and tall fence around the crash site won't stop her from getting to it.
Under cover of the night, the five of them sneak underneath the perimeter fence via underground tunnels and come back above ground behind forbidden territory. It's a wasteland of abandoned cars and wrecked vehicles coated in a thick layer of ash. They sneak their way across the area, narrowly avoiding the watchful eyes of military patrols. Yulia finds her way back to Svetlana's old bedroom where she narrowly avoided death during the crash while the boys go their separate ways to explore. Suddenly, an alien finds its way into Svetlana's room, and in her fear, she shoots it, stumbling off the building.
Before she can fall, the alien saves her, and in that moment, she senses something in it. There's no threat from this creature, and in its strange face, she almost sees something human.
The boys come to save her, and in their enthusiasm, they knock the alien off the edge of the building, and though it tries to save itself from plummeting to its death. Upon finding the body, the team decides to take it back to their garage hideout for closer inspection. Yulia spots a body, coated in ash with fresh blood. The sight stuns her, and later that night she returns to retrieve it, convinced this nearly dead body was the being wearing the alien suit. She brings the body to the class nerd, Google, the next day, who's stunned and says they need to give him some blood. Yulia contacts an old sneaky doctor friend of her father who says he can help. They sneak the body into a hospital and, discovering Yulia has a matching blood type, they perform a transfusion, and before long, the alien man wakes up. He grabs Yulia's arm and leaves a shimmering metallic band on it before passing out again. Later in the shower, Yulia's new piece of alien jewelry appears to give her strange powers. In the shower, she's suddenly able to control the water telepathically using her bracelet. At a military base, Valentine is brought some alien tech and realizes it too has the same effect on the water in a cooler, somehow exerting control over it. In the outside world, the water in Moscow seems to dry up as it is pulled towards the spacecraft. At Yulia's home, the alien man has woken up. He introduces himself as Hakan. He appears to understand Russian and pose no immediate threat, though he says he can't remove the band from her arm, which is bonded to him. Frustrated, she dresses him and ushers him out of the garage. She lost her patience for this alien man and Google's grating enthusiasm for him. Back at Artyom's garage, the guys are busy experimenting on the suit. They are able to activate it, and it almost absorbs Ruslan. They narrowly save him and decide they should sell it back to the military for a high price. Artyom calls Valentine to seal the deal. They arrive at the military base, where hundreds of thirsty citizens are queuing to receive their water ration. An angry citizen throws a rock at a guard who mistakes Ruslan for being the officer, and before we know it, riot police on horses attack and a riot ensues. Artyom puts them in the car and tells them to leave. Following the riot, Artyom meets with Valentine, but being his usual, single-minded self, he's not ready to hear what Artyom has to say before he's arrested for being at the riot. Hakan is brought to the military base, where the police discover he has no fingerprints. Yulia arrives to save him from the station and finds Artyom there in the process. She promises she'll try to save him from custody, but he is dragged away by the police. Yulia brings Hakan to her father, pretending he might be the father of her unborn child in order to acquire a DNA test for him. She hugs her father and pretends to be apologetic while stealing his security pass and covertly handing it to Hakan before sending him away. Using the stolen card, Hakan infiltrates the government lab housing the alien tech, and of course he's able to activate and retrieve the items stored inside. As he promptly flees the lab, the alarm is sounded to apprehend him. Back in his regular clothes, Hakan and Yulia are escorted from the base, and no one is any wiser to their plot. They return to Yulia's home, and these two unlikely interplanetary friends connect over their differences. They enjoy a short period of peace before her father returns home with an axe to grind. However, it's too late. Yulia and Hakan have escaped. They make their way to Google's place to get changed into different clothes. Yulia decides to take Hakan to a concert that Svetlana had given her tickets to, where they're spotted by Mishkin. Caught up in the rhythm of the music, Hakan shows her they are connected, and by joining hands with her, he shows her a vision of his home world. He explains the similarities their planets share, only his race found a cure for death many years ago. He explains to her that no one can ever enter his ship. If the technology detects any alien presence within it, it will strike out and kill them. She takes him back to the forbidden area surrounding his ship and steals a kiss from him before sending him back to the spacecraft. She gets a phone call. It's Artyom hoping to meet up with her. She says no because she's not interested anymore. Then to her surprise, Artyom and his friends round the corner. They hold Yulia back while Artyom begins to beat up Hakan. Hakan does nothing to fight back. His peaceful nature is built into species. As Artyom is about to kill him, Mishkin finds the device Hakan retrieved earlier. Artyom's eyes widen at this opportunity. Discovering Hakan is an alien sparks no sympathy in him. He slaps Yulia in his rage, and Hakan has seen enough. He springs to life and defeats the gang with ease. In confusion, one of Artyom's friends is shot and the military arrives. Artyom and his gang run for it, and Yulia and Hakan are arrested. Artyom uses his friend's death as an opportunity to push the fake story on social media that Haken was responsible for it, and the story blows up. Before long, a huge mob has assembled ready to seek revenge.
There's a distinct sense of nationalism and racism in the tone of the speech that Artyom delivers, especially as he arms his mob with baseball bats and they chant that the Earth is theirs.
They march on the military barricade in full riot mode, intent on breaking through and laying waste to the ship. Python uses an armored car to break down the fence, and the rioters swarm the gates, coming face to face with an army of riot police. When this combat unfolds, Artyom has returned to his garage and is suiting up the alien mech suit. While the aliens clash with the rioters, Yulia pleads with her father to free Haken and return the missing piece to his ship. She steals her father's gun and holds it to her head, taking herself ransom, and they make their escape. As Yulia speeds towards the ship, the battle between aliens and rioters continues, and Artyom has caught up to them using the newfound speed and strength of his mech suit.
Here we see some genuinely cool flashes of sci-fi action as the VFX team gets to flex their muscles on this high-speed chase and ensuing hand-to-hand fight between Haken and Artyom.
Driving the military truck, Yulia crashes into Artyom and saves him. His suit has sustained too much damage and spits him out while the military arrive and subdued the rioters. As Yulia and Haken embrace, she declares her love for him, but too soon, Artyom takes up a rifle and pulls the trigger, but not before Haken turns her and takes the bullet. The aliens take Haken, Yulia, and Valentin aboard their ship, where they place them inside their healing pods. Aboard the ship, the onboard AI lectures Valentin on humanity's uncivilized nature and how they are here purely to observe our strange, unsophisticated culture. As the healing process completes, Yulia awakes, and the next thing we see is her embracing her father as the repaired spacecraft takes off into the atmosphere. The movie ends with Yulia stargazing once again, her alien bracelet still on her wrist. Meanwhile, far away on a spaceship, the seemingly dead body of Haken seems to stir.
It's fun to see a film like Attraction take a more sentimental approach to the alien invasion genre. Usually these movies are all doom and gloom, so seeing a more relaxed focus on genres such as romantic comedy and not the impending end of the world is a nice change, even if the finished product isn't the most brilliantly made film. It seems as though with all the different genres it tries to explore, it never does any of them quite enough justice. That being said, it's harmless fun, and there are a few interesting ideas and laughs along the way. Plus, it's interesting to see aliens land anywhere but America for once, and see how that impacts the results of the movie. And to see how Russian culture and sentiments influence how the story is told. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload, and don't forget to suggest movies you want us to recap in the future in the comments down below.